Well, we have, with Asian carp, we have to think of short-term and long-term. Short-term, we've got to slow their spread down as much as we can, and that means we have to look at a deterrent barrier somewhere on the Mississippi. Our preference is Lock and Dam 1. We're going to put a barrier in there that can slow them down. Long-term, we need to look at some way to control these species, and um, that requires research into biological chemical control methods, and we need to start doing that focused here in Minnesota on Minnesota issues. So we have a short-term need, long-term need, um, and we need to, we're behind the eight ball on this. We need to start moving right now. We have some of the best fishing and hunting in Minnesota that is available anywhere in the U.S. But the reason we do is because we have invested in fishing and hunting and wildlife and fish populations for 100 years. Our ability to manage is being seriously compromised now because we've not had a general license increase since 2001. Gas was $1.74 a gallon then. It's $3.50 a gallon today. All of our costs have gone up. Our revenues have gone down. If we don't invest now by getting a new hunting and fishing fee increase, our experience is going to suffer, and especially that of for our children, hunting and fishing is going to suffer going forward. We need to reinvest today to make sure we have those resources tomorrow. As far as my key concepts for leadership, I'd say maybe three of them. One is that we manage for the people of Minnesota. Our management responsibilities is to provide long-term benefits to the people of the state of Minnesota. And that, I think, means that we need to be stewards. Conservation means wise use. It doesn't mean you block things off and you don't use them. It means wise use. It means we should be able to use resources today as long as it doesn't jeopardize our ability to use resources in the future. So the notion of conservation, the notion of stewardship, and I think collaboration. We need to be working with people of Minnesota to look for what I call conservation that works. It's conservation that can keep people employed. It's conservation that gives people great recreational experiences, but it's conservation that will be providing, ensuring those resources will be available 50 years, 100 years, 150 years from now. Well, the governor had three big things that he told all of us commissioners to do, and one specifically for me. And the three things that the governor said to all of us commissioners was, first off, we need to make government work. And so he's a believer in a government that can work, and so we are looking to make sure that what we do day in and day out is providing value to the people of Minnesota. Second is he wanted to make sure that we work with the people of Minnesota. So we are out there talking to people, hearing what people want, and making sure that we're addressing their needs. And third is he wanted to have a focus on jobs. He wants to make sure that whatever we're doing, we keep jobs in mind so that we are not unnecessarily hampering job creation, or to the extent we can, and DNR is a job creator, we are creating jobs from our standpoint, for instance, from timber, taconite, and tourism, the three T's of work that we do. But specifically, he's told me, too, that DNR needs to repair our relationships in many parts of Minnesota, especially northern Minnesota. So we've taken some extra steps to be visible, to be proactive, to be listening to constituents in northern Minnesota and address those concerns as best as we can. I'd offer a couple of things on background. First off, I think, the passage of the amendment indicated that Minnesotans really are passionate about natural resources, fresh, clean water, habitat, recreational experiences, so they really care about that. Second off, by passing the amendment, they said they wanted more than what they're getting right now, and in a manner that ensures that we'll continue to get that in the future. So I think the odds are good if we respect those principles, if we follow the trajectory we've had the last 2 years. I think the work that is being done, the projects that have been funded, really demonstrate the good things this can do and really can set us on a trajectory for some really nice outcomes, now and 25 years from now. So I think if we keep the faith, if we keep going in the direction we're going, we will be very satisfied in 25 years with what we have. If we start looking at these funds as the only money available and using them to deal with every single issue we've got without keeping that focus, then I think people are going to be very disappointed, and they're going to say, aha, you fooled us again, just like you did with the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund. You promised us one thing, you did the bait and switch, and now you're putting the money to other purposes. So I think it is absolutely imperative that the legislature and the agencies, keep the faith with the voters and make sure we do more and make it a legacy for future generations. I started when I was in high school going to the Boundary Waters. We'd hitchhike up to the Gunflint, and we'd rent a canoe out of Grand Marais, and he'd take us up there. And we had outstanding experiences. Kids, urban kids, being in the wilderness, surviving, learning how to build fires, learning how to cook, learning how to put up tents. Outstanding experience. I would recommend that to anybody. I have a 14-year-old, 11-year-old, still take my kids up every year to the Boundary Waters for that experience, and it's unique. I mean, you see the license plates in the parking lot. Pennsylvania, Oregon, Arkansas. People come from all over the United States for that, and it's just outstanding. Boundary Waters. Every spring, I take my kids down to southeast Minnesota, down to Bluff Country, and we go trout fishing. We camp in one of the state parks there. We go trout fishing. Fantastic experience. It's spring. The birds are migrating. You get all these wonderful calls. The turkeys are gobbling. The trout are very hungry and bite. The kids just have a blast. It's a great experience. Turkey hunting, go turkey hunting in the spring, and you're there again. The birds are migrating, and it's just deafening. All of the birds songs out there. Beautiful time of year. Nobody's out there. It's just starting to green up. Wonderful experience. The last couple of years, I've hunted ducks on the opener up on Glacial Ridge National Wildlife Refuge up in Crookston, Minnesota. It's 30,000 acres of restored prairie. It's like Laura Ingalls Wilder going back to the time on the prairie. Vast prairies, birds, ducks and prairie chickens like in the old days. Just a fantastic experience and good time on the prairies. Pheasant hunting. I love pheasant hunting. Going down to southwest Minnesota, walking through a prairie grass field and with a good dog and good friends and birds. I never used to be a pheasant hunter until about 1987. I always kind of disparaged it because it's an exotic species, but having done it now, it's just fantastic. I took my daughter for the first time last year. She's 11, took her to the Governor's Pheasant Opener. She loves our dog, Winnie. She got to see Winnie in action. It's like she put all these things together. This is why we train her. Look at what she does. She is an absolute hunting machine, and look at the excitement and the fun that we have with it. So it's just tremendous experience. It's just I can't imagine an outdoor experience that you can have in Minnesota that is negative. They're all positive. I wish everybody